Hey everyone, we're now live for building a composable CDP with Google Cloud. We have a poll question for you. So let me share my screen. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. So we'll let some people trickle in. In the meantime, there's a poll tab on the bottom right of your screen. So click on that and then answer the poll question. Does your company use a customer data platform or CDP? And while we're waiting, Rick, I'm curious, how would you define a customer data platform?
Thank you. Great question. So in my head, a customer data platform is anything where people can get data about their customers. If that is a good CDP, that's something I leave in the middle, but that's the CDP for me. A good CDP would be one place where you store a unified view on your customers, where data is cleaned, where data is unified. But more often than not, we see places where a CDP is used, but not a great one.
Interesting. Jobin, would you agree with that, or how would you define a CDP?
Yeah, definitely. It is just like a concept where we have entire information related to a particular customer in a single place rather than being on data silos, which I would probably be touching a little bit today. I'm sure Rick and Justin would also be. But having disconnected sources would not be an answer to having a clear picture of what exactly would be a customer's complete journey, so that we can approach that customer for a particular use case, targeted use cases. But a single platform will give you the flexibility to have a full vision, or complete view of a particular customer's life cycle and value, so that we can approach them. So a single location with a end-to-end data related to a particular customer is what considered a CDP.
Yeah, totally makes sense. All right, let's see if we have some answers in. Cool. So we have a couple of early votes. 44% of people say, or 40% of people say, we don't currently use a CDP, but we want to. 30% of people say, yes, but it could be better. And another, more votes are coming in. So percentages are changing. That's now previously 30, now 27% of people say, no, it's not a good fit. One person has said, what's a CDP? You're in the right place. I appreciate you giving us that answer. However, no one has said yes, and it's great. So we might find out why very soon as we go through our presentation. Okay, moving on. All right, so today we're going to cover building a composable CDP with Google Cloud. We have some speakers today, but I'll quickly go over the introduction or the agenda. So we're going to start off with introductions. Then Rick from Devo team will tell us why CDPs haven't delivered on their promises. Jobin from Google will go into BigQuery as a data warehouse for digital marketing. And then Justin from Census will talk about activating your data in BigQuery. And as we're going through, please feel free to send any questions to the chat box. They're all public, so we can see any questions that you have. We can either answer them while we're talking if it's relevant to the slides, or we will have a Q&A section at the end. So definitely feel free to chat us any questions at any time. Awesome. Now passing it on to Jobin to start us off with introductions.
Sure. Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're located. I'm Jobin George, a partner solutions architect, focusing on analytics and databases partnership here at Google Cloud. I work very closely with partners like Census and build joint solutions for our mutual customers like yourself. Let me hand it over to Justin for a quick intro.
Oops. Everybody had trouble finding the unmute button there. My name is Justin. I am a sales engineer here at Census. Previously, I was an enterprise customer engineer with GCP as well. So really familiar with the whole Google stack and really excited to show what we can offer today. And let me just toss it over to Rick, who can introduce himself and then take it away.
Hey everybody. So my name is Rick. I'm Brussels-based, so for me it's evening. So nice that you all joined in. I'm a senior Google Cloud data architect at Devo Team G Cloud, and we help customers or we help companies building their data platform, which is wider than a CDP, but the CDP is a big portion of it. So I'm specialized in data ingestion, data warehousing, visualization, and of course, a big part in governance. And if you want to reach out to me, here's my LinkedIn handle. So please do so. So then maybe a quick word about Devoteam. So I work for Devoteam. We are predominantly a Europe-based company, but we work with customers all over the globe. We have customers in Qatar, we have customers in Australia, and everywhere else. And so we see a lot of big customers, and we see a lot of customers struggle with data. If you can go to the next slide, please. Yes, so these are all companies we have worked with, and we have some kind of data related track with. And all of these customers have a problem. They all have challenges, and the challenges sound a bit like this. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yes. So how do we grow our customer base? Because a customer base is the most important thing into a company. I think there is a bit of a lag on the slides. I'm now seeing the 9th one.
Do we want to be on the slide for creating a more personalized customer experience?
Back.
Sorry, do you want to take control, or is this fine?
I can take control if you want. Give me a second.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Sorry about that. Minor technical difficulties. Stay with us.
Okay. So here I am. Okay. So a lot of companies have the same problems. How do we grow our customer base? Because the customer base is the most important thing into a business. Without a customer base, your business cannot survive. So is our marketing campaign successful? Are we targeting the correct people? Are we targeting our customers? But also questions like, why are customers not coming back? So you see, all of those insights are very important into understanding your business or your customers to grow your business and to go above your targets and go and reach for the stars. So understanding your customers is very important. What's also important is to create a more personalized customer experience, because customers are in this digital age looking for personalized experience. A lot of studies have shown that if you have a successful personalization and improved customer experience, your customer satisfaction can go up by 20% or even more. And you know, satisfied customers mean more revenue, and that's what all people or all companies are going for. Then we have another statistic that show that 67% of consumers are interested in a customer support experience that could anticipate their needs, because you are there as a business to guide them to the product or to guide them to the solution they want. They should not care and should not look for all the details. No, you should guide them into the procedure, which can save them a lot of time. And then last, we have delivering relevant experiences to customers can decrease costs by 30% and increase revenue, because they will pose a lot less questions. Everything will be guided for them. So they just have to click, or they just have to go on to the correct place to find the product they want. So your costs will decrease and your revenue will increase. So let's go a bit more technical in here. We now know why CDPs are important, why customer data is real gold. Let's see how CDPs at the moment are most of the time implemented. So first, we see the semi-manual spreadsheet approach, where everything, all customer data is tracked in spreadsheets. Then second, we have the directly use the production database approach, where they just leech upon the production database to get customer information out. And then third, we have the off-the-shelf all-in-one CDP that they shoehorned onto the existing business processes in the company. But all of those CDPs have two enemies. First one being time, second one being scale. The time one is your CDP may work now or may be good fit now, but will it still work 5 years from now? And how hard is it to migrate away to another CDP? For example, if you have an off-the-shelf solution, the off-the-shelf solution, the company goes down, well, where are you going to migrate to? You don't have any alternative. All your eggs are in the same basket. So this is a big risk. Then we have scale. Well, if you implement a CDP correctly and you use all the value of the CDP, your business will likely grow. But can your CDP that supports your whole growth also scale with you? Can it still work effectively if your company grows ×2 or ×10? So let's investigate those options. First one, the semi-manual spreadsheet approach. Well, over time, we all do. We have multiple versions then, and they will not work together, or we have a lot of undocumented manual work that leads to mistakes. In scale, it's very hard to manage all the customers in one spreadsheet, and it's hard to segment data to different people, so everybody can see everything or nothing. Then we have directly use the production database. Biggest pain point here is the scale. If our BI platforms on top of the CDP will grow, a lot of queries will go directly to the production database, which will overload the production database and will, in some cases, we have seen this, even bring the main product down. The website is not reachable anymore just because the CDP that's poorly implemented will reach directly to the production database. And third, we have the off-the-shelf all-in-one CDPs. Well, then all your eggs are in one basket. You don't have any fallback. And what if your off-the-shelf CDP is not going in the same direction as you are in? Let's say a new platform like TikTok comes up, and then your CDP, okay, we don't want to connect you to TikTok because it's not for us. Then you're a bit, I wouldn't say the word, but then you're in a bad situation. So you should have some form of reliability built in. You should have some form of fallback to. Okay, I hear a lot of things. I think that is the chat. Okay. And then also scale. What if you suddenly increase? What if I suddenly increase the license by 10 and you go only by 2? It doesn't match, so it will cost you a lot of money, but you cannot go anywhere else. So sometimes it works, sometimes it works great, but a lot of time, over time, yeah, it gets bad. But in IT, luckily, we have a problem for this. This is not a new problem. The problem is there for a long time. We have solved it in a lot of other areas. For example, in your pocket, your smartphone. There, everything is compartmented. For example, you don't like the connectivity of your smartphone. Okay, you just switch service provider. Or you don't like the performance of your phone, you swap phones. But the app inside your phone will still remain the same. You don't need to migrate from Facebook or something just because you have another smartphone. No, the app, the user interface, the things you want to get out are still the same, but the components in the back change. And that's the same vision we also see with composable customer data platforms. What if we see the whole product as different components that we can all swap out if we have another taste? Let's say my company has big needs for a lot of data ingestion tools, maybe even multiple, but your company doesn't. Well, you can pick a simple tool, I can pick multiple tools, and we can still use the same stack afterwards. What if you use an open source ingestion tool because it suits your needs, but now you've grown, so you want something that is managed by somebody else? Well, just swap the tool out, but everything else stays the same. So that's the benefit of having a composable data platform over a non-composable data platform. You can swap the things out, what fits your business best, and you can also tweak the whole stack to your business without having to change your business to the tool you're using. That's the wrong way around. So lastly, you have to start small and think big. You have to see those things as components. For example, the ingestion on the left and the data extraction on the right. You can start small, that's okay, as long as you know what the next step is, what the next product is that you can use that bring you value. So for example, you start with you manual input all your sheets, all your data in sheets. You have visualization in a sheet, and then you have manual extraction. This is the lowest tier you can go, I would say, where everything is done manually, and you will soon get bored of it, and you will soon see that this is not a very good approach. But it's okay to start. That's totally fine. And then maybe afterwards you can see, look, I want to share those insights with my customers, or I want to share those insights with, more important, stakeholders. I want to show them how much revenue we did in which compartments. So we need a reporting tool. And then, okay, let's take Google Sheet out. Let's move to Looker Studio, which integrates natively with Google Sheets, which is also a free product, by the way. So you change one single element, but everything else stays the same. Then you think, okay, I have a lot of Google Sheets now. It's very hard to manage. And I have data coming in from other places. Well, we need a data warehouse. And that's where you swap Google Sheets in here for BigQuery. You can still manually input the data in Sheets if you want to, because they can natively sync with Google BigQuery. But then you just swap this piece out for BigQuery and everything else stays the same. Same thing with data extraction and using your data in your Google Sheet. If you want to send that data to other places where it can be useful, because like I said, personalization of your product is very, very important, and you are tired of typing all the information or giving all the information to other platforms, well, then use something like Census or another tool. But keep in mind, these are all pieces to the puzzle, and some pieces are better than others, but don't see the whole problem as one. Try to solve it in iterations. And try something out. Doesn't work? Okay, let's revert. Try something else. See what brings value to your product or to your business, and then go on. And even if you're in that state and you're thinking this is not enough for me, I need, for example, more data ingestion. Well, then just add a data ingestion source. Or I want to have more BI tools. Well, just add a BI tool. So that's why composable data platforms are winning this day and age over the all-in-one solutions, because the all-in-one solutions most of the time will not stand the test of time. And those were my insights about the composable data platforms and why at this day and age they are out-competed by the composable data platforms. Thank you. And I think we can go to Ruben, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Really appreciate your insights. Shall I share or?
Take over if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you, yeah, either way, I'm fine.
Shall I go?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Awesome. Thank you, Rick. Really appreciate it. Again, I'm Jobin George, a partner solutions architect from Google Cloud. Today, I'll be briefly touching upon BigQuery as a data warehouse for digital marketing. Today, regulatory and industry changes are impacting how data is collected and used. Regulations such as GDPR or CCPA are changing the way how customers' data is handled as of today, right? Also, a drastic change in consumer behavior, thanks to pandemic, makes it very complex and even expensive to capture and analyze the data. And of course, customers are a lot privacy conscious than probably 2 years or 5 years ago, which actually makes it even harder and tougher. Moving on, now brands need to be more strategic and consider privacy forward data capture initiatives than ever before. Alternative but effective methods needs to be identified to capture, analyze and process, derive insights out of it from the first party data. Advertisers must break down data silos, which are spread across multiple data sources within the organizations to prevent from fast and effective business management. Slower you gain insights out of your data, slower you will have your business profit. Need to gain if you have to gain a holistic view of the customer, that needs to be communicated across organizations within different departments. you will have to drive a customer-centric culture first, because if you're having like silo data spread across the organization, different departments handling specific set of data, and doesn't share with another set of consumers within the organization, there is no point of having that data. Nobody will have a holistic picture, and you will not be able to make full use of that particular data, which is going to be a or an ongoing challenge since some time. Ability to personalize marketing and other touch points across customer journeys to increase conversion and retention is going to be very critical going forward. Moving on, according to marketing data analytics, survey done by Gartner in 2020. Rick, if you can move to the next slide.
Yeah.
Thank you. There are going to be challenges like which I don't know if you skip 2 slides. I think there is a slide delay. Sorry about that. The one before. Yeah. According to market data and analytics, survey done by Gartner in 2020, most common challenges within marketing organizations are data silos. There is no clear understanding of return of investment on marketing and ads. Lack of ability to infuse innovation into marketing. So, starting with data silos, marketing organizations see that their data sitting in multiple systems, platforms, databases, and even probably on an Excel sheet or a bunch of Excel sheets on a laptop of an employee. And how are you going to make use of that, data? It's going to be very critical for the organization to have a holistic overview of a single customer. CMOs and their marketing organizations would like to understand how their ad and marketing spend is performing, which means understanding of their return of investment is really poor, and they need to change that. In order to overcome this challenge, they need to bring together the silo data set spread across multiple places into a single powerful analytical platform, and then support their marketing activities based on that. Finally, marketing organizations are looking at leveraging best-in-class machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies to drive enhanced customer experience. Solving for audience insights, segmentation, mixed media, attribution modeling, etc., are some of those examples. Google have a number of products in which we have turned the data into improved experience for customers by using AI and analytics. A limitless data infrastructure has allowed Google to bring simplicity to a complex and sophisticated problem what you would encounter out there. Now, the quick question coming into your mind would be, how do I do with apply the same design principle to have the unlimited scale, workload, and users as needed? In order to handle limitless data and limitless users, along with workloads, you need limitless innovation. For limitless data-driven innovation, you need limitless data cloud. This is where Google Cloud is going to play a significant role in your journey. A recent study shows that 78% of chief marketing officers believe customer data platform and AI will have significant impact on marketing, and all the signs today are indicating exactly the same. If you can move on to the next slide. Thank you. This is exactly where Google BigQuery plays a critical role. BigQuery is a completely serverless but cost-effective enterprise data warehouse, which have built-in machine learning and BI capabilities that works even across clouds, on-premises, and that can scale with your data. BigQuery is way more than just a Google, cloud data warehouse. It provides you with a foundation you need to approach the data, serve your customers the need they have at this point. From storage to compute to networking, BigQuery is designed to bring Google's innovation and resources at your service for your own queries. BigQuery stands on Colossus, Google's global storage system, which handles replication, recovery, and distributed management under the hood, and there is no single point of failure. And of course, like Google Borg, our cluster management system automatically routes processing tasks across Google's highly scalable infrastructure. And Dremel, our BigQuery execution engine, which is completely stateless, meaning Dremel node, even if it goes down in a cluster, it will be running queries without interruptions. Also, BigQuery supports an array of partner products like Census that seamlessly integrate with ingesting as well as consuming data in and out of BigQuery respectively. When you combine all this with Google's Juniper, our high-performance networking infrastructure, you will find BigQuery to be 10 times more reliable than average data cloud warehousing product out there. Like I said, BigQuery is way more than a simple cloud data warehouse. It's a platform for innovation, and it's a platform that treats data analytics as a business critical capability. So as you can see, the ecosystem around BigQuery is so enormous, so that your customers will have the freedom to choose, and the ecosystems they would want to work with. They have the full flexibility to have a third party product out there with openness to ingest data into BigQuery. There are BigQuery on provided capabilities when it comes to integrating with ingesting and consuming data, as well as integrating with third party along with first party products for business intelligence, and of course partners like Census to consume data out of BigQuery moving forward. If you can move to the next slide, Rick. The first step in building a customer data platform is to collect data and transform it to get a holistic view of a customer, holistic view of customer insights. Leveraging native connectors and our partner ecosystem to integrate data quickly, consumers can have hundreds of touch points with retail brands when they shop for a product online, for example. Building a CDP with Google allow you to collect your first party data from all these sources you see, starting with analytics, Google Ads, YouTube, etc., along with third-party data from different CRM systems, loyalty programs, ad campaigns, point of sales, and combining all of them together to have a collective, holistic view of a customer journey and to optimize the interactions you can have with the customer. Please keep in mind that Google is not providing an out-of-the-box solution, but a customer data platform would be something which you will have to build on top of it, leveraging all these pieces and partner ecosystems which are built on top of it. Let's look at the next step, analyzing. Next step is actually analyzing and visualizing the data to enable data-driven decisions. With BigQuery, and our pre-trained models such as video intelligence API, product recommendations, NLP API, and our machine learning solutions such as BigQuery ML, which is native on BigQuery, you'll be able to solve your marketing needs with highest quality as possible. Also with Looker, you can then easily visualize and analysis, do analysis on the outputs and enable your marketing team to do their own analysis as needed, and activate the output of the analysis across various marketing and consumer service platforms seamlessly. So the first step is to capture and process it. The second step is to analyze and visualize it so that you can decide what to take actions on. And the next step is going to be, or the last step, is going to be, insights and leverage them to activate on that particular data set. If you can move to the next slide, thank you. After forecasting a particular product, for example, individual customers might be interested in learning about the customer. You will understand what their likes are, what they are looking for. You can provide personalized product recommendations. If you don't know anything about your customer, you only have a set of data from a single source, you will not be able to understand what exactly the holistic overview of a particular customer, so that you can target a particular ad towards him or a particular offer towards him. Maybe after predicting which customers are at risk, you can stop showing ads, and in order to make sure that the customer's lifetime value is segmented, so that you can try to retain them. Understanding customer sentiment from your brand as well as maybe a competitor out there, you will be able to tailor your customer service message accordingly, so that you don't piss them off, and then so that they can be more proactive and they will be retained on the platform. And of course, automatically sending them emails with specific offers which are targeted for them, rather than sending a generic one to all the customers. For some, it may not even make sense, which can get the customers agitated a little bit. So that's the last step of that, activating. And I think Justin will talk more about how to activate that in his session. Now, all these steps which I mentioned, this is a holistic view of how all of these three steps can come together on GCP. Marketing analytics is all about measuring, managing, and analyzing and modeling the marketing data to achieve better marketing outcomes, better ROI, and customer experiences, which is which should be underlined. Allowing marketers to ingest data from siloed platforms, having it in a single place, analyzing it, developing insights, segment it, and consolidating data sets and deliver differentiated experiences and personalize messaging and offers to their customers are going to be critical. Google Cloud, marketing analytics solutions leverages Google Cloud's data cloud to solve these use cases, like customers by utilizing unsupervised machine learning. You will be able to target a lot of that, predicting sales numbers, running product sentiment analysis using customer comments in, say, social media. Those are some of those examples which you can see. And then, of course, as you see, there are various first party as well as third party data sets available, Google's native data sources, which can be brought onto Google Cloud, where you will have the warehouse, as well as the Vertex AI, which is our AI ML platform. And along with that, we will have Looker and third party custom connectors to extract the data, including third party partner products like Census, which will help you to make that activation happen. Taking a closer look, if we can move to the next slide, Rick, thank you. A bit more clarity on bringing it all together, right? Let's take a closer look at all those small components which I mentioned. You can bring data from different sources. Could be from ads manager, maybe from Adobe, Facebook ad, Salesforce, etc. There are different sources you can bring the data. You probably would be using BigQuery data transfer service or direct exports or external connectors, third party connectors to bring the data and then prepare the data for analysis. So you can use BigQuery storage to dump all these data and then prepare this data using Google Cloud data prep, and analyze that using BigQuery, which would be your CDP platform, and then apply machine learning on top of it, depending upon your use cases. And then there could be third-party APIs which will be helping you to augment that, and you will be able to push this data back into your personalized campaigns, maybe emails, as well as back into apps, or maybe Census will be an option for you to capture this and model your data, transfer back into your applications just like that. And of course, Looker or Tableau or MicroStrategy or any of those platforms you can leverage in order to gain insights and then take a look at look at all these data sets. For those use cases, we work very closely with Census, and just to mention, Census is a BigQuery ready partner who have worked very closely with us and gone through a rigorous validation to achieve that particular status. We also partner with them very closely to improve existing integrations like BigQuery and other Google integrations, as well as the latest and newest integrations and solutions. One of our latest integrations is for AlloDB for PostgreSQL, a fully managed Postgres SQL compatible data service for your most demanding enterprise workloads. I'll paste a link of how the integration works and things like that in the chat, right after my session. Next, I briefly want to walk you through a customer success story. Ulta Beauty, a largest beauty retailer in the United States, wanted the centralized sales, reviews, and social media data in one place. And it was a challenge for them to have their siloed data set consolidated in one place. And they also needed to drive personalized shopping experience for their loyal members by recommending products to them based on their insights, their interest, and what data they have collected based on that particular single customer. Ulta Beauty used Google Cloud's BigQuery and the machine learning technologies around it to help organize and analyze sales data, product reviews, and social media engagement. And then it used insights to create personalized product recommendations and even base messaging for loyal members. I know that there is a lot to talk about BigQuery and marketing analytics and how we solve customers' problem. But in respect of time, let me hand it over to Justin to talk a little bit more about how Census enable customers on activating and taking actions on customer data in CDP. Justin, please take it over.
Awesome. Thanks, Jobin. Appreciate it. Rick, can we hop over to the next slide? Or I can also share if Katie wants to.
Yeah, you can share. That's okay.
Cool. Thanks, Katie. Really what we want to do real quick is just kind of walk through, and this is going to be a little bit of review, but just want to add a bit more visuals on top of what kind of Rick and Jobin have been already talking about. What we're trying to communicate here is when you purchase a CDP or when you evaluate a CDP, you typically expect it to handle these 5 general steps. Now we're going to be able to ingest raw data from your raw sources into the CDP. There's going to be some unification of those records to create kind of your golden record of what a user would be or what an entity would be. There might be some lightweight insights on top of that, looking at the size of segments, looking at performance and general metrics in there. And then we're going to then take those records and shoot them back into these other third-party applications that your CDP integrates with out of the box. The challenge here, and really what the benefit would be that Rick touched on before, is that if you go ahead and break this out instead, each individual vertical that you're seeing here is better at what that specific step does over what a CDP would provide as a bundled offering, which is almost more each of these steps for a CDP is more just a individual kind of like feature or like a side bonus versus what that product does specifically and what it specializes in. And one other thing I also want to think about too, because we are working kind of with GCP today, you're going to see a lot of Google logos already on this screen, right? So you see Looker there. That's like a best in breed for your unified records and your reporting. That can do some modeling in there. Google Ads, obviously, and there's no shortage of Google Analytics, Google Ads platforms that you can send data to on the back end there. As far as ingestion goes, there's Google Data Proc, Data Flow, Data Fusion. I know Data Stream is coming as well for GCP. And then obviously we have BigQuery down there, but Google also has Alloy, which is its transactional database. And really the only piece that's missing as far as a full Google stack goes is the actual activation layer. So taking data that's already been modeled inside the warehouse, taking data that's been centralized, calculated, and then you're creating your customer journeys inside BigQuery, and then actually taking those results and shooting them back out into your destinations for marketing teams, all your different ads platforms, but also if you want to think beyond marketing as well, any sort of operational data sources like SFMC for Marketing Cloud, and then also any sort of transactional databases that might drive another application. Rick, we can hop over to the next slide. Or Katie. Right here, I think we're really just going to look at this from a different perspective here, from more of a vertical perspective. So Katie, if you click one more time, we're going to see, typically if you're looking at your full data stack and the full data process, this is what each piece is typically responsible for. So, your warehouse is where you centralize all your data. I think BigQuery specifically is designed to scale very, very well to the petabyte level. Where you can store your data in one spot, has a separation between compute and storage, and it's really just designed to actually centralize everything, make it speak the same language, versus a CDP, which, again, that's just kind of one piece of the bonus for it. And then once you have everything in one spot, then all your engineers and your analysts who all write SQL, you go and create that unified customer profile, create that data model. And then there's a little bit of overlap here, but with Looker being both a business intelligence and reporting tool, and then also on the back end, having that LookML layer that you can define your data model and have it get version controlled and blessed, and this is the correct way to do things. That, again, all sits right on top of BigQuery. And really the last piece that we're missing here is, as a marketing person, you have your Looker dashboard. You can say, thanks so much. I see here's my list of users that either are at risk of churning, here's the list of users, or the list of accounts that are really good targets to go after. And then the last piece is just, now what do I do with this, right? So a lot of folks, kind of the current way you would get data into ads platforms, which almost feels a little bit archaic, is you download a CSV out of your BI tool, you download a CSV out of your warehouse, manually upload that into Braze, or you manually upload that into your different ads platforms. Census is really going to try and act as that actual missing link to automate those processes for you. Katie, we can hop over one more. I think we're here. What we want to do is if we can take away 3 things for why this would be really beneficial for you. If these are the 3 things you can remember coming out of today's webinar, I think we'll have done our jobs. Number 1, time to value. We can get this stood up a lot faster simply because you already have that data inside the warehouse. You probably already have some sort of reporting, some sort of modeling sitting on top of that. You already have your BI tool. In terms of data governance, you don't have to move that data elsewhere. Again, all these are going to tie back to your data warehouse. If you already have BigQuery, you don't have to move it out, so it's a lot faster. You don't have to move it into a separate destination, so it's a lot more secure. And the last piece here is that each individual piece, as you're purchasing it, if you think back to that slide with the verticals I showed you before, you can pick and choose which vertical is most important to you. So if you don't need the best in breed for each individual piece, if you don't want to pay for a really fancy, expensive ETL tool, you can build that pipeline yourself. Similarly, if you don't need the best in breed versions of the reporting, you can go with a cheaper solution and then really just focus on the actual optimization of costs, focus on that data warehouse, and focus on the delivery of data. Cool. Katie, you can jump back one more, or jump forward one more. Just a couple quick customer stories. Mixpanel uses Census and uses BigQuery to go and basically take their product data and feed it forwards in an automated way. Bleach London, same thing. They reduce their CPA by 20%, which if you're thinking around how big marketing budgets are, they are very, very big. And so 20% is a large return just by automating that. Taking the data that already exists inside BigQuery, that's already modeled and it's already available, and then just automating that forwards. One last thing I think I might want to leave you on as well is if we think about CDPs and using the actual composable CDP, I know for a fact from both my Census and my GCP days that there are more than a few CDP companies that actually go with the composable route versus just using their own product as their full data stack. I know a lot of them are also GCP customers and Looker customers. So I think a lot of CDPs recognize that, their own core value is the actual tagging, the capture, the streaming of data, but all these accessories are more accessories and less so the actual core piece of their value and their offering. And I think that's all I really wanted to leave y'all with today. I don't know, Katie, if you want to toss over that kind of connect with us and any sort of Q&As that we can answer these questions as they come up.
I think
sounds great. We have some questions in the chat. So Justin, do you want to facilitate some questions?
Yeah, sure. So Lewis had a question here about real-time capabilities and would BigQuery still be relevant? The first question I usually try and kind of push back with is when people say real-time, how real-time are we really talking, right? When we think about the architecture of Census and the architecture we've presented today, the data goes from the raw source, it gets piped into a data warehouse or a database on the back end, and then it gets modeled, and then the modeling is basically persistent, but then Census then queries the database data warehouse, extracts the data out, and then feeds it into the front end. Now, this entire process we can orchestrate and we can schedule to it's really, really tight. You can use like Google Cloud Composer, say that as soon as your ETL finishes in the warehouse, automatically kick off a sync inside Census that's going to query the data and then upload it into your destination. So really the lag there that we're thinking about is how long does it take to query that data? So how big is the data we're looking at? And then how long does it take to pipe that in? And then how long does it take to upload it into the source or into the destination? So if we're thinking real time in terms of 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, that's not going to be an issue at all. If you're thinking real time as in you really want to stream data directly from its raw event directly into a destination, this might not be the best use case for that, simply because there does need to be those steps of the centralization and the querying and the modeling, but then you also lose all those benefits as well. You can't enrich the data, you can't have it centralized in one spot unless you're looking at, say, historical performance.
Right. I would also like to add a few thoughts on that. You know, the faster you go, the accuracy with respect to associating a customer with all those may not be there. In that case, like, the data would be coming from, say, Kafka, probably PubSub, or say even, Kinesis or some other data sources where they're capturing, some sort of data. And, if there are multiple sources the data is coming from, there should be an intermediate layer, like Justin mentioned, where all of these data can be combined to get a actionable insight, which then only be able to respond back to the customer with associated response, which would be relevant for the customers at that time. If you take steps based on just a data coming from single source, that may not be accurate enough to understand the need and what exact situation that customer is in. Then only you will be able to get that full ROI for that particular effort you are putting in. So if there is no centralized location, like Justin mentioned, it may not be applicable. Something like BigQuery would be still relevant when it comes to marketing analytics, because you have to have a CDP which have the holistic view of the customer. But there are situations like, say, customer trying to get some sort of immediate action. That may not be a lot relevant for marketing use cases, but definitely for, say, fraud analytics or something of that sort, which may be like two different use cases we are thinking about. Hope that add a little bit value.
I see Lewis responding. Oh, cool. Sounds great, Lewis. Thank you. These next two questions here about kind of lead nurturing and customer journey and Google, and then also overall architecture of like, where does the identity graph live, and do you do this manually? I think these are pretty related questions, and less so about the specific question of where do you do this or where do you do that, but more so thinking about the overall architecture. It's that, where do you want general calculations to live, and where do you want the centralization of the data, and what do you want to do in the actual destination itself? And I think the way we want to think about this is that once the data is in BigQuery, we don't really care where the data came from, right? Because like once the data is centralized in BigQuery, it already speaks the same language. We don't care if it's event data, if it's user data, company data, sales data. If it's all in one spot, your data engineers and your analysts can build whatever they want. If it's events and want to create a customer journey, they can do that inside BigQuery. They can leverage BQML. They can throw it into a Python or an R script or whatever they want, and then feed it back into BigQuery. Once it's there, it's a complete sandbox, and your engineers and analysts can take it away. Now, from a marketing standpoint, obviously, we don't expect the marketing team to live inside BigQuery. That's most marketing folks, I think Katie can write, don't really care about what happens inside the warehouse itself. And so if we're thinking about then I want to segment on top of the data that's been given to me, or I want to take the clean, governed, and blessed tables that live inside BigQuery and are fed to me, and then I want to create a customer journey there myself, or I want to feed it into like Google Analytics. That's kind of where that break happens of, inside BigQuery, we're really aiming to centralize, cleanse, enrich that data, making it more accurate, as Jobin was talking about. And then once you feed it into those end user tools, the marketing and business teams can feel comfortable that the data they're receiving in there is cleaned up, it's cleansed, it's the correct way to add this metric on top of it. And then you can pick it up from there and put it into Salesforce Marketing Cloud or Marketo or Braze or whichever tool you use on the front end.
Right. And, maybe, Alex's question, I don't know if he was looking for something which is native to Google. We have marketing, Google marketing platform as well, if that is what the gist of the first question. You can have like Adobe or Salesforce or Marketo as any of these sources as, maybe the source of collection or target. But definitely, like if you're looking for a native solution, Google Marketing Platform is an answer, but it's not under the umbrella of Google Cloud. But as Alphabet, we have Google Marketing Platform as well available.
Rick, do you have any thoughts here, or what have you seen for previous client and customer deployments?
Well, maybe to go back on the identity graph, it's not that Google has a product available where you can put in all of your IDs of a customer and then everything is unified. But in my eyes, that's also a strong point of it. In BigQuery, you can customize all your data and you can create all the custom links yourself. Because in a lot of cases, especially bigger companies, all of the customer IDs are different from system to system because it grew that way. And then in BigQuery, you have the power to, on very large data sets, terabytes or hundreds of terabytes, you can try to combine customers together based on their name or based on their address, phone number, whatever. And I know it's not 100% good match always, but in a lot of cases, it's much, much better than doing nothing. So there is no way where you can give the IDs and then Google figures out all the rest. If you have those IDs, that's great. Then your modeling in BigQuery will be much easier. But there is also a way of trying to link customers back together so you can cluster them better because you have more attributes in BigQuery with your own custom logic. And that's sometimes or the only way we can go for.
Thanks, Rick. Gente or Gents, does that answer your question? I see that you're typing. Let us know if you have any other questions in the last couple of minutes here. If not, we'll wrap up.
Yeah, maybe also to add on the real-time capabilities of BigQuery, you can stream data directly into BigQuery, so you can potentially make it as real-time as possible for example, dashboarding. So that's a possibility of BigQuery now. Yeah. I think that, Jobin, that's something for you to take up then.
Like I said, like I mentioned when I was, I was talking about the journey, right? All the building blocks we provide as a platform, definitely, and there are third-party solutions as well, which will help you to, unify a particular customer based on or building a profile for the customer internally within BigQuery itself, which will help you to solve that problem. But as a cloud platform, we definitely be having building blocks for you to build rather than we don't offer as a solution, but definitely there are ISVs and service integrators out there who provide a bundle solution which will get you to that point. And again, having native integrations built from Google Marketing Platform and other solutions, there are possibilities that you can get there faster. But we don't offer something as a solution as of today.
Ross is
all right.
Yeah,
we had a hard question from Ross here about where do we see the BigQuery approach being inferior to a traditional CDP. I have a couple thoughts on that immediately myself, but Jobin or Rick, do you want to take this first?
Go ahead, add yours, and then I will definitely add.
Yeah, absolutely. I think BigQuery was designed not specifically to go after CDPs. Obviously, BigQuery is it was a data warehouse. It's MPP data warehouse that you had separation between storage and compute. And it just so happens that because it's so good at centralizing data, you have all these accessories that stack on top of the data warehouse that just makes it so that it can be a very good hub that you can turn into a CDP. Now, that doesn't mean that CDPs are useless, doesn't mean that CDPs are dead. I think I have a different architecture slide I use myself that actually has segment as a raw source that you feed into BigQuery. What CDPs are very, very good at that BigQuery doesn't do at all is the actual tagging of users, the actual streaming of data, the centralizing your records in one spot, and then attaching a user tag to all of them. That is just what they specialize in, something that we don't, but BigQuery just doesn't have, right? The most successful deployments I've seen of segment from ex-customers I used to work with is they actually take their segment data, they run it through all their tagging systems, find their individual users, and then they feed that into the warehouse and then stack something like Looker on top with a data modeling that can leverage that tag and leverage the data that segments collected. That, I think, is the most effective way I've seen CDPs being used. It's more so all the rest of it with the accessories of the reporting and the actual feeding from segment into other sources that kind of fall down a little bit, that we see is a better approach to using BigQuery with Census and the rest of the Google add-ons that you have.
Yeah, and I briefly touched upon the capabilities with respect to scaling as you need, and the integration and ecosystem around it, which will make it better. Like we said, we offer as a solution, but definitely, there are work. There could be things which you could do to make it even better, right? I would not categorize that as probably an inferior, compared to the existing CDPs there, the features, but it provides you with all the tools necessary for you to get the work done and have that at your fingertips, compared to a particular CDP which may not have openness which you would require at the end of the day for creating other sort of reports and sharing it with other organizations within your within your company itself, right? So the scale, the openness, and the features which it provide to make sure that a CDP would be something like, and of course, like the machine learning capabilities and AI things, like AI features which help you to augment that and prepare you for the future, would be something which you should be really looking at, rather than restricting yourself to having a black box which you don't know what exactly is happening under the hood. You will not be able to use the data. Compared to that, BigQuery CDP solution would be really elegant when it comes to a lot of other and opens up a lot of other data solutions for rest of the teams within your organizations as well. So that's just a few points which I thought I would add. I don't know, Rick, if you have any thoughts, feel free to add. Otherwise,
yeah, I think the answer is also a bit in the question. You're comparing BigQuery, where you built a CDP on top to a traditional CDP that's already created. So BigQuery is the backbone. It has a lot of features, but it also lacks some features compared to a CDP that only is a CDP. So you have to customize a bit to get it up to your speed. That's true, and that's maybe a drawback if you don't have the knowledge in-house. But you can still get those features, but some features you will have to build yourself, like the tagging. Tagging is available, but you will have to enforce it to your users.
And if you don't have that expertise in-house, that's what Devo Team and Rick specialize in. So definitely hit him up if you have any needs. Awesome. We are definitely at time. So really appreciate everyone for joining. I just want to share that if you have any additional data questions, join the Slack community for data practitioners. We also have marketing analytics, marketing ops, and sales ops folks. So join the Operational Analytics Club at operationalanalytics.club. We have a lot of educational events going on for learning SQL or learning how to do more with your data. So come join us and grow your career. And definitely connect with us through LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever else you have your network. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate your time.
thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. See you.